take a stroll through the heart of this city that we know so well. Charities and shops with stories to tell. Community connections, that's the way. We light up local every day. From the fun to the heart to the city's soul. It's Marlboro pride, let's roll. WMCT, it's where we'll be. Marlboro pride on your TV.
Hello Marlborough, and thanks for tuning in to another live episode of Community Connections right here from WMCT-TV. If you haven't been to our studio before, we're in the old fire police station on 91 Main Street. You might know us from the Vin Bin downstairs where the beautiful aroma of bacon wafts through our space. All the more reason to come up here and visit us and learn about what we do. One of the main things that we do, and one of the main purposes of this show, is to explore all of the resources and the nonprofit groups that are available in Marlborough, along with all the fun things and activities and ways that you can get involved right here in your community. Today, I'm really excited to have some guests on the show from an organization that I was not familiar with, and even in our pre-show conversation, I'm learning so much more, and you're really going to enjoy this program, and I'm sure you're going to have someone that pops in your mind that could benefit from this program right away. The program is called Thom Marlborough Early Intervention, Thom Marlborough Area Early Intervention. And my guests today are Maura Buglione and Dawn Gutro. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
My pleasure. So you reached out, I put out the sort of feelers to nonprofits in the area, and I'm not sure who it was that got in touch, but you said—
I did, I think.
Yeah, and you said, Thom Marlborough Area Early Intervention. And I said, I have no idea what this is. Let me get online. And I don't have kids, so I wasn't familiar with early intervention at all. So please tell me and the viewers what your organization does.
Well, sure, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here. We love talking about early intervention. So we are a nonprofit, like you mentioned. My program is one of multiple programs. We actually have 10 in our agency, but the Marlboro area program is based here in Marlboro. We serve 5 different cities, Marlboro as a city, and then Northborough, Southborough, Westborough, and Hudson as well. We provide family-centered, developmentally appropriate services for families that have children birth to 3. So the little ones, so the infants and toddlers. If those children have developmental disabilities or delays in their development, we help work and coach those parents and caregivers to help those children. Fantastic.
So how does that work? Do you have a facility where people bring their kids, sort of like you bring your child to the doctor, or is it home visits? How does this work?
Yeah, it's basically home-based services. Okay. So our clinicians who go to the homes. One of the whole philosophies about early intervention is not only intervening early when the kids are young, but also in their natural environment. And so we go to them. So if they're at home, we'll see them at home. If they're at childcare, we'll go to the childcare. We often also see kids in the community, so we'll meet at the library, or we'll go to the playground. So we'll go to where the kids are.
So it's a lot of one-on-one support.
Yes, in a team approach with the family.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a whole bunch of different progressive delays that could be addressed through early intervention. Who is the first to notice those? And is it usually someone is referring to you through their primary care doctor, or do they just find you first?
Yeah, oftentimes we get referrals from primary care physicians, but anyone can refer to early intervention. So if a parent has a concern that maybe they feel like their child's not hitting their developmental milestones, or they notice they're not talking much, or maybe they're not walking when they expected them to walk, they can make a referral directly as well. So no referral is required.
Yeah, it's, my sister and her partner, they just had a beautiful baby. And as new parents do, it's so easy to get sucked into the web of looking at milestones and looking at all these different things. So I imagine going to a specialist is probably the best way to get some relief as well, to either say, your child is right on track, nothing to worry about, or to say, no, thank you for catching this early. We can do something. We can make some major progress here. Am I right?
Absolutely, absolutely. If a parent has the least bit of concern, or if they just want to be reassured, they can always come to us. We could do a developmental evaluation, and then they can decide. We can reassure them their child's developing right on target, or if we do see a delay in any one area, we can help and support them with that.
Amazing. Now, one thing that really struck me as interesting is that you both come from really specific therapy backgrounds. Can you tell me about that?
Sure. Yes, I'm a physical therapist. I've worked in pediatrics my whole career, but I've been in early intervention for the last 24 years. The last 10 as the director. But I actually worked, in the field doing home visiting and early intervention as a physical therapist first.
Yeah. And how about yourself?
So I started, in 2010 as an occupational therapist at our Norwood program. So I delivered direct services to children and families for about 6 years before I became a part of the leadership team. It was in Natick at the time, but now we are based in Framingham.
I just think that's fascinating and just lovely to hear that people with such skills and passion for the work have then moved up into these positions where they are now overseeing younger team members and bringing people in and still instilling that passion that you've carried with you in your whole life, because you're in development now, which is wearing a very different hat. You know?
Yeah, so as the director of development, I wear a lot of different hats in this role, but one of the big pieces is securing grant funding. I'm involved in a lot of outreach and advocacy, some of the marketing for our programs, and then I also oversee our training and development team.
So we talked about money there for a second. So if there's a family that might need these support services, what's the cost associated with that?
That's a great question. So all of our services can be billed through health insurance.
Oh, fantastic.
And if for any reason a health insurer does not cover the cost of services, the Massachusetts Department of Public Health picks up the cost. So there's never any cost to families for early intervention.
Wonderful. And you were saying what was funny earlier is because of your background in physical therapy, you still find yourself on the floor. You're working with little ones, and that's their space to learn and grow. They're not sitting in a nice comfy chair like us. And you have no problem getting down on the floor still and getting.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we do a lot of our work, is we're working with the infants and toddlers, and often our staff are sitting on the floor with them, getting down at their level.
Yeah. Another interesting thing is that beyond the home visits and those private sessions, you also offer some really fun group activities as well. Can you tell me about those offerings?
We do. So our office is located, like I said, in Marlborough, and so we have playgroups there Monday through Friday, mornings and afternoons. The groups are staffed by our staff, and so we have clinicians with a variety of backgrounds that staff those groups, and we have groups for the infants, with parents and the babies come together. It's a nice way for them to actually meet other parents and other babies at the same time that they're getting that attention from a clinician. And then we have groups for the toddlers, that the early young toddlers and then the older toddlers.
And you have some music programs as well.
We have music groups, we have sensory groups that do a lot of exploration and sensory play. We have some groups that are geared towards children on the autism spectrum, so we have a variety of different types of groups.
And these programs are not just limited to folks that might be requiring your services either, am I right?
Sure, yeah. We always love having kids from the community come to our playgroups. It's nice opportunity for them to join us. We do charge a small fee for community kids, but we also have scholarships, so that should not be a factor that limits a family from coming to our groups.
Because there's some modeling involved too.
Yeah, it's nice to have typically developing peers for the children that are enrolled in early intervention to play with and be incorporated. Yeah.
I love that. So what is the philosophy of Thom, Marlborough, early intervention overall? What's the whole model?
So early intervention is geared towards families with young children. And so we are family-centered, very focused on the family,
Yes.
right? So the parents and caregivers for the child are intricate part of the team. We basically do a lot of coaching and support and modeling and reflect with the parents on what their child's doing or not doing and how to help and support them to carry over lots of different tips and tricks and strategies throughout their daily routines. The whole philosophy is to incorporate different strategies into the daily routine. So during mealtime, during playtime, during going for a walk or going to the playground, to be able to give those parents and caregivers some confidence in how to support their children. Parents are the experts on their own children, right?
Yes.
They know their kids. And so we can come in and help, learn from them what's going on with their child, and then we can help support them in giving them some ideas and some strategies to help their child's development.
Because I imagine with this type of work, having someone come into your house once a week or every other week is only one of the blocks that's required to make significant progress. It really requires 24/7 almost care and concern and taking care of this child, and that really falls on the parent most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, infants and toddlers and how they spend most of their time and how they spend their day, they're with their parents, grandparents, caregivers, they might be at childcare. So we know that for us to be most impactful in helping them to reach the goals that that their family and we as a team have set together, we really need to influence those early relationships and make sure that everyone involved in that child's care really understands how they can support them.
So what type of populations or communities are you working with most frequently, I guess specifically in Marlborough?
So we see children with variety of diagnosis or delays in their development. So we might see a child that has significant medical needs or physical disabilities. We also see children that are just late talkers or not crawling yet, or late to walk, or having difficulty with feeding skills, or engaging in play activities. So we see quite a variety of kids and families.
Yeah, we were just speaking earlier about how diverse Massachusetts and Marlborough is, with Portuguese and Spanish-speaking people. And has that been any hindrance to you in being able to reach out and serve those specific demographics as well?
Well, we do have bilingual clinicians on staff,
Oh,
and then
fabulous.
we also have some interpreters on staff. So whenever possible, we have an interpreter go with the clinician to the home visits. And then if that's not possible, then we do offer interpreting services either through video or telephone interpreting. So, but we try as much as we possible to have someone actually in person, because we feel like that's really important. We want families to understand and be able to participate in the visits.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So of course the name threw me for a moment, because I read it Thom and I thought, oh, it's Thom spelled in some weird, but it's Thom. So what is Thom, or who is Thom? Where did this name come from?
Yeah, so I guess you could say the founding father of Thom Child and Family Services was Dr. Douglas A. Thom. And he was kind of a pioneer in the field of mental health in early childhood, in that at a time where a lot of people were looking at working with people with mental health issues as sort of like a deficits-based model, he really wanted to focus on strengths-based work. So really figuring out, what is helping this child or family to be successful. So Douglas A. Thom, he was
And this is going
pioneer.
back how long, when this organization was founded?
Yeah, so originally it started as a mental health clinic in 1921, and then kind of evolved over the years and sort of moved into early childhood spaces, and then I wish I remembered the year off the top of my head, but the Westfield program was the first official early intervention program associated with the Department of Public Health in
See, that's just sort of
Massachusetts.
mind-blowing to me to think that in the 1920s, this was being seen and understood in a medical field, because we know for so long there was no understanding of this, and a child that maybe had delays was just thought to be disabled and often, unfortunately, discarded in some way. So to have a pioneer who wanted to really depend on the strengths and building up the strengths of any person who is having mental health problems or any sort of physical development issues is just fabulous, and that mission has continued so strongly today. Primarily with children. Is it only children's resources today?
Yeah, our agency, Thom Child and Family Services, is our agency. Marlborough is just one of 10 early intervention programs in our agency. So we do have programs throughout the state.
That's great. That's great. What kind of training and professional development do you offer to your team to get them all in the same positive mindset? I imagine anyone who's gone to school and studied to be a physical therapist or speech therapist, it comes in with some level of passion. But what sort of training do you get them to get them into your team mentality?
Yeah. So all new hires that come to the agency, they go to an in-person orientation that's one full day, just to kind of learn the background of the agency, professional boundaries and confidentiality, some things like that. They get set up with IT and human resources. But then moving on from there, we have some sort of core required trainings just to help people really understand the unique work of early intervention. Because as you mentioned, like a physical therapist, they learn about physical therapy with all different ages. So there is, it's a different approach in early intervention, working closely with families and coaching. So Dawn can talk more about this as well, but at each program, people are usually assigned to a mentor and a supervisor who really help guide them in those early weeks so that they can get comfortable, working with families, going into their homes, providing support. So they gradually build up. They don't come in with a full caseload of children and families that they're working with.
Well, that's very unique too, going into the home, and we hear about more and more nurses that are visiting nurses now and making these home calls. But I never thought about someone in early intervention doing that, but that's where the work really needs to happen, like you said earlier. Can you tell me a little bit more?
So on staff we have, as you mentioned, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech language pathologists. We have nurses, social workers, educators, licensed mental health counselors. So we have music therapists. So we have a variety of different clinicians that all come to EI with experience or training in their individual fields, and then we help and support the training that's more geared towards early childhood and early intervention. So once they go through the initial training, we have lots of trainings that we do at the program level as well.
And with the medical field changing so rapidly all the time, how do you keep people up to date with the latest protocols? I worked with special needs populations, and ABA was the thing when I was there. And I think even that mentality and that training has changed significantly from when I started.
It's always ever developing and changing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we spend a lot of time doing research, and we also poll our staff to learn, what are they most interested in learning about? Where do they feel like they have professional development needs? And that helps us to frame the trainings that we're offering to our staff. But it is very true that it's a very continuously evolving, the science and information and the new models that people are starting to use. But I think what's been consistent about our work is really that relationship-based model and figuring out how to empower families.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to hear a little bit more about how Thom Marlborough area early intervention is empowering families, and maybe even hear some really inspiring success stories as well when we come back from this brief message from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere.
It's shout-out time. WMCT-TV would like to thank our sponsors for supporting community media here in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Drumet Hair Salon and Day Spa, offering services including extensions and keratin smoothing, coloring and blonding, precision cutting, and more. Drumet Hair Salon and Day Spa is located at 31 Spring Hill Ave in Marlborough, Massachusetts. The Coffee Loft. Coffee and community is their motto, as they serve up lattes, cold brew, tea, sandwiches, and pastries too. The Coffee Loft is open 7 days a week at 406 Lincoln Street, here in Marlborough. The Vin Bin, bringing you the best in wine, cheese, brew, and gourmet sandwiches for 20 years and counting. The Vin Bin is located at 91 Main Street in Marlborough. Author and illustrator Mark Martirosian, host of TV's Drawing with Mark on WMCT-TV. Mark is offering free downloadable activity pages for kids of all ages. Email pennyarcadecreative@gmail.com for more information. Leah Owen, marketing and business consultant. Leah's team members and partners share her belief that great organizations, from businesses to nonprofits and more, deserve to be seen, heard, and celebrated. From social media strategy to community events, this boutique marketing agency helps local brands and organizations grow with purpose and personality.
Thanks for sticking around. We're continuing on with my fabulous conversation I'm having with my new friends, Maura and Dawn from Thom, Marlborough area early intervention. I knew I'd mess it up at some point. I saved it though, I saved it. So I was hoping that maybe you could share with me and our viewers maybe a specific instance or of a success story that you've had in the program.
So we have
They
lots
happen
all the time. They do happen every day, every week, every month. I mean, we have children who, weren't saying anything, starting to say a few words and then putting those words together and be able to ask exactly what they want or tell you what they don't want, that progression of that development. Or a child who is drinking from the bottle that is having trouble transitioning to solid foods, and then they're able to do that. Children who are kind of stuck in a sitting position and can't quite crawl or move, and then just with some help and support and training for the parent and working with the child, they're not only crawling, but then they're getting into everything.
Yeah.
Right? So
it just must be an inspirational place to work as well.
Yeah, it's pretty rewarding. Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
How does your team celebrate a milestone? Are you just celebrating every day, or do you take time?
It's more the family team. Yeah. So with the clinician with the family, right? They're the team that is working together and having those celebrations. As a program, as a staff, we have lots of celebrations too, but the most important ones are the family.
Yeah, one thing, so I get a lot of testimonials from families who have been recipients of our services, and one that really stands out in my mind was a mother who had commented that it was very nerve-wracking learning that there may be something wrong with her child, or that they were delayed in their development, and because of that, because the journey was not as she expected it to look, she felt like she was having some trouble connecting with her child and really forming that relationship, that bond. And she said that the team of providers that came into her home were just so warm and caring and compassionate, and they helped her see all of the wonderful things that her child can do and all of the progress that her child was making. So she really felt that the services impacted that relationship with her child, and that's just the most important part of what we do. I get a little choked up talking about it. But yeah, it just was such a beautiful thing to read, and just reaffirming that is why we provide services the way that we do.
Yeah. Now, I understand you also are doing some sort of donation drive right now?
Oh, yes. Thank you for mentioning that. So a lot of families are struggling right now, and we're trying to do just a little bit to help and support them. So we're actually hosting a food and diaper drive right now through December 19th. So we're constantly collecting non-perishable foods, small grocery store gift cards, diapers, baby wipes, that families can use, and then we'll be donating them to the local food pantries and
so that's
programs.
just a way that the community can get involved.
Yeah, we're located right in Marlborough at 201 Boston Post Road, so the small office building. and on the first floor, Suite 101, and we have a box right inside our office. So if anyone wants to stop by and bring a donation, would much appreciated. If someone wants to call our office and we can arrange to pick something up, I'd be happy to do that. Can I say our phone number?
Absolutely.
It's 508-624-0304. So if someone needs help, picking something up, we're happy to do that as well.
Well, I was just talking about people that need help in general. So like if you're watching this and if someone's watching this at home and they have concerns about their child's development, what do they do next?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked, because that's why we're here, right? That's what we're doing. So if anyone has any concerns, don't hesitate to just if you go to our website, you can make a referral directly through the website, or you can call our office. Again, the phone number is 508-624-0304. The website is thomchild.org, THOMCHILD.org. And there's a place where you can just make a referral directly on there, and then we'll give you a call back. I would say if you have any concerns, don't hesitate to call us. Like we said, there's no cost to families. We can schedule an evaluation usually within 2 to 3 weeks. Do that evaluation, and then, and we can take steps from there. Services are totally voluntary, so you can have the evaluation, and then you can decide, do you want to continue or not. So I would say that's...
Even when a child doesn't qualify for services through the program, I think sometimes parents find it reassuring and helpful just to get feedback from the providers about, what are the types of activities you could be trying with them to work on whatever it was that caused them to refer to early intervention in the first place. Yeah.
And you have so many different locations, not just in Marlborough, but you were even saying that there are other early intervention centers and groups available as well. And you've established a really kind and friendly working relationship with them. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, there are programs throughout the entire state. 62 is it?
I think 62
programs. Thom has 10 programs, but there are 12 other programs in this. 52 other programs throughout the state. And so, for instance, every program covers a certain geographic area.
Yeah, and then especially as you get into like West Massachusetts, where it gets a little more barren and hard to find services.
If someone doesn't live in our area, we can help them to connect with a program that's in their area. They can either call our office, we're happy to help them. Massachusetts has a website, mass.gov, and there's a whole early intervention section on the mass.gov website where they can look up where the early intervention program is in their community.
Yep.
Do you ever work with interns, people that are just entering the field of physical therapy, speech pathology, and wanting to get their feet wet and try this out?
Yes, we do. So we take all kinds of different students: physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, early childhood education, things like that. And we love to take students whenever we can, as long as we have the staffing to support them in their learning journey. And I think that's a really good way for people to learn about the services that we provide in early intervention and see what they look like. And we always hope that they'll like it so much that they'll come and stay in early intervention.
Absolutely. And it sounds like you have such a friendly and supportive team that it's a great place to work.
Yes.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the end of our episode. Any closing remarks from either of you to leave with our viewers?
When in doubt, make a referral.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I just appreciate being able to be here and talk about what we do and spread the word, because we want families to be comfortable contacting us, and if there's kids out there that families are looking for a playgroup, then they don't have concerns about their child's development, but they're interested in a playgroup, they can always reach out to us as well.
Well, I was just thinking about that as well, is how special is that for a normally developing child to interact with children of different abilities, and what that teaches them as well about compassion and play and making friends from all different walks of life. What a special experience for that child to have as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been so great having you both on the show, and I hope you'll be back again soon. And if you have any other more food drives or any other things coming up, please let me know. We'd be glad to help promote it and continuing to share the exceptional mission that you have of serving these families in Marlborough and throughout all of Massachusetts.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thanks so much.
My pleasure. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Community Connections. If you're here in Marlborough and you know of a nonprofit group with an outstanding mission that you think deserves a little love, have them come on the show. I'd love to interview them in this relaxed, casual setting of a TV studio with lots of lights and cameras everywhere. No, it's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I make it easy, right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
they're shaking their heads. Please be in touch. We have so many wonderful things happening in Marlborough that we're always looking to promote and share with you, our Marlborough viewers. I'm Ryan Malyar, signing off.